show, really, because there's so much, so much amazing talent in the film. So we're going to start with Stuart. Who are you and who do you play?
Well, hi, John, and hello, English Riviera Film Festival. Well, I'm Stuart Davidson, and I play Dr Alexander Hogg, and he's the medical doctor in this film, and he's got a few issues, but he's ultimately a nice guy. So unlike Alex, he is a good guy, and you know, I've grown to quite like him. So hopefully the audience will too. But we'll have to see.
And what's been your most inspirational moment on set so far in the scenes you've been
in? I would say that the most inspirational moment was the court scenes. Actually, these were really big scenes, and there was hundreds of extras and essays involved in this, and they really, you know, filled up. And it was in the actual court scene that happened. The whole community came out of Workington, and they did come and barricade at the doors of the courthouse to try and get in, and the court was full of people, and Steve, all credit to him, replicated that, you know, and he's got a huge number of essays, and they filled up the courthouse, and they were so involved, you know. It's great when that happens, and you know, they were all. He needed, it was a very emotional, some court scenes going on there, and he really needed them to be involved, to give that energy, and they were all giving 100%. It was fantastic, and that sort of, you know, you ride along as an actor, you ride along on that sort of wave when the whole set has got that energy going. So that really inspired me to sort of up my game, if you like, and really hopefully deliver the scenes that I did in that court.
And let's jump in, John. Yeah, I'll just add that Stuart actually got a standing ovation for his performance. It was that girl. It was amazing. It did 2 takes, and that was it. It was over. And
well done. Yeah, that's what you want from an actor. You move on to the next thing.
It's behind me that does it. It's you guys who are amazing, who can actually just, at the click of my fingers, you can actually turn anything. Oh, just turn it round and make it magical. So you see my vision and you bring it to life, and I think you guys are most amazing.
So Stuart, you've been King Arthur, and,
Yes.
And you're in this role as well. How do you get into the mindset of your character?
Well, that was a hard one. I mean, sometimes it leaps off you from the page. You look at the script, and sometimes it's just there, the mannerisms, the voice, it's there. It didn't happen with this guy, and I couldn't.
Stuart, you tell them my script is bad.
No. I'm saying on this occasion I couldn't find his voice. I couldn't find it, you know, and I turned up. You know, came on set. I didn't have any scenes on the day I came, but I met the other doctor, and James, who I think you've already interviewed him, and he had that sort of Victorian doctor down perfectly, and I thought, yeah, that's it. That's how you do a Victorian doctor. And I just thought, I can't do that as well, because we won't have a dynamic between us. You know, we'll just be identikits of each other, you know, and it just won't work. So I had to try and find, you know, something else about him, and because these are real characters, these people lived, you know, 140 years ago, and so you want to do something truthful to their characters and who they were, wherever possible. And so I researched, I looked up this doctor, and there's so little about a lot of these characters, because the story of Lucy went away quite quickly after these tragic, terrible events, and the court scene that broke the community apart. I think the community wanted to put it behind them, so that's why that sort of happened. But a lot of these characters sort of disappeared with history. but I did find one paper that Dr. Hogg had written, and it was published 7 years after the killing of Lucy, and it was a medical paper he published on the causal link between poverty and health, and using the working classes of Workington, his own patients, as the sort of subjects of the study. And so that gave me an idea that this guy is quite, he's got some empathy, he's got compassion, he's community minded, and quite progressive for for a Victorian doctor. There's no NHS, there's no healthcare of that sense. So he's actually quite ahead of his time. And so I took that and used that sort of aspect of him and made him a sort of a sympathetic character, and that worked well with Dr. Hyatt, who is that traditional, stern, snobbish sort of Victorian doctor that you expect, and I think that they work well together. That dynamic between them works, and so I developed that sort of character, and he does have Steve wrote into the script. He has these sort of nervous disorders, and so I had to really work hard to try and figure that one out, because I don't know anything about anxiety or panic attacks, and he suffers from these. So again, I had to really research that in order to bring that out in the character and in some of the scenes as well.
Can't wait to see that on screen. So
Johnny, it's definitely the work of a deranged mind.
Yeah, so I think what I've learned is that normally with films and TV that I've been involved with, I'm normally there as a daily, and so I just I go in and that's it. I have the one day, but this has been a role that has been allowed me to take on a part that's developed for well, as Tamsin has said, 2 years we've been at this, and so I think I've learned to work with other people, to work with a great crew and cast. So I think that has been different for me, as opposed to just coming in to just do a walk-on part, doing a full role and really a long stint at it. That has taught me quite a lot.
And Steve, what have you learned in the process of working with this really talented cast?
What have I learned? I've learned a hell of a lot, actually, because this started off as just a proof of concept to a micro, short kind of, trailer when we first started off. And with this particular set of people, I learned very quickly how much talent they actually had and how much dedication they had to the actual film itself. And especially with Stuart, who one day when I was travelling up to Bristol, I believe it was, January last year, and it blew me away because he told me that he'd actually been studying and researching the doctor who he was playing part of, and he knew things that I didn't know, and I thought, my God, this is amazing. And it was through that, but they all everybody became main cast and lead main cast throughout all this. So everybody who's in this meeting this evening really do play one hell of an integral part of the actual film itself, or the series. And I've learned through that you can never underestimate anybody, because everybody has some amazing talent out there. And say these guys who are sort of still semi-unknown is an absolute crime in the industry, because they actually do perform so damn well. And they do deserve to go a hell of a long way. So yeah, that's what I've learned from this one, is that no matter who comes on set, you can't look at them and think, well, what do you know? You've got to look at them and think, show what you can do, because I believe it.
Superb. Right. Well, why should people see this series, this film? Why should they see it?
Well, this film, it's an original story, and I think that this day and age we have a lot of what we see on TV and film is a lot of remakes and retelling of things in history. And when we have a new contemporary story, it is contemporary, it's modern, it's happened in the last couple of years. Everyone knows about it already. This is a story that is true, and no one knows about it, you know, and it's a tragic, and it's horrific. And as Alex said, yes, it should have been told. And this is the first time it's happening, because it wasn't. It appeared in the newspapers in 1882, and that was it, really, you know. And you know, and that's terrible that happened. So if the audience is going to watch this, they're going to watch something for the first time. They're going to be among the first people to see the whole story and know the whole story, and that's pretty special.